Ladies and gentlemen, my friends, my brothers and sisters in ambition, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where your dreams are currently located. Today I want to talk about a topic that many people feel in their hearts but are afraid to say out loud. A topic that sounds painful, confusing, sometimes unfair, but is very real. The topic is titled, Why Strangers Will Help You Before Your Relatives Do. Now, before you start looking at your uncle, your auntie, your cousin, or your family WhatsApp group with suspicious eyes, relax. I am not here to create family problems. I am here to create clarity, growth, and maybe a little laughter, because if we don't laugh, we will cry, and crying is bad for business. Let me begin with a simple truth. Life does not reward blood, it rewards value. Many people grow up believing that relatives will always support them first. That family is automatic backup, that because you share a surname or attended the same village ceremonies, help will arrive on time like a government allowance. But life, my friend, is not that polite. Sometimes the first person to believe in you will not share your DNA. Sometimes the first person to fund your idea will not attend your family meetings. Sometimes the person who will clap loudest for your success is someone who met you on a random Tuesday and liked the way your mind works. And that is not a curse. That is a lesson. When I was young, I applied for many jobs. I failed many times. I was rejected again and again. If rejection was a sport, I would be a world champion with gold medals in both hands and one in my pocket. Do you think all my relatives stood up and said, Jack, we believe in you? No, some of them said, this boy is wasting his time. Some said, why don't you just get a normal job? Some said nothing, but their silence was louder than words. But one day, strangers listened. Strangers saw something. Strangers gave opportunities. Why? Because strangers saw potential while relatives saw history. Your relatives remember you when you were small, when you broke plates, when you failed exams, when you borrowed money and never returned it, when you said, I have an idea, and the idea disappeared like mobile data at midnight. Strangers don't know your past mistakes. They only see your present value and your future possibility. This is painful, but listen carefully. Your relatives know your weaknesses. They know your failures. They know your patterns. So when you say, I want to start a business, they don't hear ambition. They hear, this one again. When you say, I want to change my life, they remember the last 10 times you said the same thing. Relatives often judge you based on who you were, not who you are becoming. Strangers, on the other hand, judge you based on what you bring to the table. In business, nobody cares who your uncle is. They care what problem you can solve. Let me tell you something funny but true. If you bake a cake and give it to a stranger, they will say, wow, this is amazing. You are talented. If you bake the same cake and give it to a relative, they will say, next time add more sugar. Relatives are not impressed easily. Why? Because they are used to you. Familiarity makes people underestimate you. Strangers don't know your limits, so they don't limit you. Relatives have history with you. Emotional records, unpaid favors, old misunderstandings. Sometimes when a relative helps you, it comes with interest. High interest, they will remind you, I helped you when you had nothing. Without me, you would not be here. Don't forget who supported you. A stranger helps you because they see mutual benefit, not emotional obligation. That makes the relationship cleaner, clearer, and more professional. Relatives sometimes look at you with pity. Strangers look at you with opportunity. Pity says, let me help you because you are struggling. Opportunity says, let me work with you because you are useful. One weakens you. The other empowers you. Strangers often help you grow because your growth benefits them too. That is not selfish. That is smart. Now listen carefully. This is very important. If strangers help you before relatives, do not be angry. Do not become bitter. Do not cut off your family emotionally. Instead, become better. Because the problem is not that your relatives hate you. The problem is that you have not yet become undeniable. Success avoids arguments. Results silence doubt. When you start producing results, relatives will change. Not because they are bad people, but because proof changes perception. One of the greatest gifts life gives you is when you realize, I am on my own, and that is okay. When relatives don't help you, you stop waiting. When you stop waiting, you start building. When you start building, you become strong. Strangers enter your life when you step into the world, not when you hide in comfort. Let me make you laugh a little. There was a young man who told his relatives, I want to start a poultry business. They laughed. They said, chickens, you, even plants die around you. So he stopped talking. He went online, met strangers, learned, tried, failed, tried again. 2 years later, he was supplying eggs. Now suddenly relatives started calling. We always knew you were hardworking. Can you help us start also? My friend wants eggs. My friend, success has a way of refreshing people's memory. Relatives love safety. They want you to be stable. They want you to avoid embarrassment. But growth requires risk. Strangers don't worry about your reputation in the village. They worry about execution. That is why innovation often comes from outside familiar circles. This is advice from experience. Some people love you, but they love your comfort version, not your growth version. When you announce your dreams too early, people project their fears onto you. Work quietly. Build skill. Deliver value. Let success introduce you. Relatives may tolerate excuses. Strangers don't. A stranger will say, can you do the job or not? That pressure forces growth. That honesty sharpens competence. That is why strangers often become mentors, partners, and investors. Let me be clear. One day, relatives will support you. When they see consistency. When they see discipline. When they see results. And when that day comes, don't say, where were you? Smile, be humble, be kind. Because life is long and bitterness is expensive. 1, build rare skills. Strangers pay for what is rare. 2, solve problems. Value attracts support. 3, stop seeking validation, seek competence. 4, network beyond family. The world is bigger than your surname. 5, be patient. Results take time, not noise. Relatives give you identity. Strangers give you opportunity. Relatives give you roots. Strangers give you wings. You need both. But never confuse love with investment. My friends, if strangers are helping you more than your relatives, do not feel rejected. Please do not turn it into a family drama episode titled, Nobody Believed in Me. Feel redirected. Life is not punishing you. Life is training you. Sometimes life removes the cushion so you can learn how to stand. Sometimes it removes the applause so you can learn how to perform without noise. When relatives don't help, life is quietly whispering, you are stronger than you think. Now prove it. Life is teaching you independence so that tomorrow when help is delayed, you don't collapse. Life is teaching you value creation so that people support you not because they pity you, but because they need you. Life is teaching you that greatness is not inherited, not borrowed, not donated at family meetings. It is earned slowly, painfully, and repeatedly. Let me tell you a funny story. There was a young man who told his relatives he wanted to start a small online business. They laughed so hard that even the neighbors benefited from the entertainment. One aunt said, online? Is it on Facebook? Another uncle asked, do you need a shop with glass? Someone else said, just go and apply for a job before this internet thing embarrasses you. So the young man stopped explaining. He stopped arguing. He stopped announcing. He went quiet, dangerously quiet. He learned skills from strangers online. He failed quietly. He improved quietly. He worked like someone who had no backup plan because honestly, he didn't. 2 years later, he bought a small car. Nothing fancy, just something that could move forward without being pushed. One Sunday, he drove to a family gathering. Suddenly, relatives became economists, business analysts, and motivational speakers. We always knew you were serious. Next time, involve us early.
By the way, my son also wants to do what you are doing.
My friend, success has a very funny way of changing people's memories. One day when you stand strong, successful, disciplined, and wise, you will finally understand something very important. It was not betrayal. It was preparation. It was life removing emotional support so you could develop mental strength. It was life denying you easy help so you could build real skill. It was life pushing you into the world so you could meet people who value what you can do, not where you come from. You will also realize this truth. Relatives are not bad people. They are just afraid for you. They want safety, not struggle. But growth does not happen in safety. It happens in responsibility. So what should you do? Go out there. Sharpen your skills until excuses feel embarrassing. Build your value until your name speaks before you enter a room. Meet strangers because your destiny is usually introduced by someone who doesn't share your surname. Become useful because usefulness attracts respect, opportunities, and support faster than complaints ever will. Stop asking, why didn't they help me? Start asking, what can I build so strong that help comes naturally? And remember this final truth, write it down if you must. The world does not reward who you are related to. It rewards what you can do. When you become valuable, support will chase you. When you become skilled, doors will open. When you become disciplined, even those who doubted you will proudly say, that one is ours. Thank you.